What are we doing now? Why are we so late? Again, apologies. We're going to wait a few more minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll start. Fantastic.
Can they write some questions? Or?
Yes, so anybody can write questions on the chat, or this session is completely interruptible, so it's not going to be talking 45 minutes and then 50 minutes Q&A. You can interrupt anytime. In the first hour, which we already missed about 15 minutes, but in the first 45 minutes, we will present why we're here and why we decided to do it. And in the second hour, I'm thinking to present. I was hoping to present 4 little alternative currencies. So hello everyone. Why we decided to do digital currency consulting? Cryptocurrencies. I don't know if Richard, any background, or are you absolute beginner? Or?
No, not an absolute beginner.
Okay, good.
Still living in wonderment.
Okay. Victor is my tech colleague. You like Bitcoin or you don't like Bitcoin? I'm not.
No.
Yeah, he's not a fan of Bitcoin, so we need to hear some opposition. Philip is our partner. So Philip is, as I said, is a financial auditor.
Yeah.
And why Philip is here, I'm going to explain. And I'm just a crazy guy that doing this last-minute presentation, which completely unprepared. So we have few people on the line. We have one guy from Cyprus, a friend of mine. I don't know who is Munti. Munti?
Hi, Monty.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. But you can type on the chat. Oh. No, we can't. We can't hear you, I'm afraid. No. Anyway. Hi. Okay. You can type anytime. Thank you. I will try that. But don't worry now. We started already. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have someone else. Don't know where they gone. Participants, yeah? Yeah. HB. No.
Nickname.
Munti. Hi, Munti. And Stephen M. I don't know Stephen M as well, so welcome to everyone. We're not going to go through the basics because most people understand already. The main idea was we were having a chat with Victor, and he says this will be banned and it's a fraud and everything else. Yeah, and Jamie Dimon says the same thing, like in JP Morgan. Well, we believe it's not. I mean, there probably is fraud. We believe, or we hope, to be able to provide more advice, which is reliable and completely professional. How are we going to do that? I don't know at the moment, but I just wanted to start this meeting just to share our experiences. I've got a reply from one of the altcoins from BlockNet. He says, "Thanks for this. I'll be there. Send me the details." Oh, great! So we'll have 2 altcoins. Great. BitBay and BlockNet. Yeah.
Have the emerging.
Yes, I'll explain later why I've chosen them. He just sent me the details. 1 second. Blue Jeans may be a brilliant software, terrible user interface. And I wanted everyone to register with their name and everything. They asked me to do a support call, which took 20 minutes, and they didn't do anything. So, I don't know. Oh, he's quick. Right. So why I started all this craziness. In the summer, okay, I'll start from January. We have some Rob here who bought some Bitcoins quite early, so I'm very happy about him. I'm not going to say how much because it's his own secret, but he bought them quite early on a very good price. So I looked at Bitcoin in January when it was $1,000. I had £15,000, and I was thinking whether to open ISA or buy Bitcoin. I opened an ISA. How wrong I was, right?
Safe and secure.
Yes, safe and secure.
And you consulted with your
And
wife.
tax-free.
And tax-free.
Tax-free.
So I'm tax-free, fantastic, but no profit, right?
Yeah.
I bought Apple and Facebook. I made 500-600 profit by the summer. So 15 grand, created 3% or something like that. And then the Bitcoin was already $4,000, but the fork was coming in June, and it started to fall. So I said, what the heck? I'm closing the ISA and I'm going to try it. So I bought my first Bitcoin at about $3,000, and I just kept it. The fork worked well, luckily, and it went to $4,000, and I was like, great, I'm making big profit. And I just want to try a little bit extra and see what can be traded. I mean, what else can you do with the Bitcoin? Can you get some little coins and make even more profit if you can? So I traded. It was complete luck. It was 21st of August when Monero jumped 3 times. Until I opened all my accounts, it was too late. It already jumped 3 times. So I didn't buy. I bought Monero about $100, and then for 2 days it went to $140. And because I'm using the trading technique, if I make 20% out, right? So, and out means going back to Bitcoin. So I use the Bitcoin as a dollar and all the little guys as a risky investments. And I did this over time, a few times. I bought the second Bitcoin, just put a bit more money. So now I invested 2 Bitcoins, but now I have 3.5. The 1.5 came from trading. So I believe there's a big value in trading. And that's the idea. I wanted to share this with everyone. I'm going to show what I did roughly, if anyone's interested. And then we sit down with Philip one day, a month ago. Do you remember what was the price? 6,000. No, 6,006 because I bought for £100. I was showing him how to.
Alex showed me. I didn't believe this digital thing, but he showed me how it works, how it goes to change transaction, the bank. So at least it looks as real. I mean, some money exchange, a big crypto address is given, a block.
It's just a bank account. So I should have bought more then, but anyway, I just bought £100 to show Philip how it works, and I still keep them in my wallet. I'm going to show my wallet now for £100, yeah, and then I just traded a bit more. I made about 60-70% profit in Bitcoin profit. Again, if it goes to 0 in January, it's all for nothing, but we're having fun, right? So we discussed with Philip, and because he's an auditor, I said, you know what, I will probably do a lot of illegal stuff, but you are really experienced, and do you mind to start a consultancy and think about it, how we can help other people to also be as much as possible to the regulation, and even work together with FCA or whatever, doesn't matter, but to create something that has a real value for investors. And he said, why not? And this is how it started.
Started to read everything that was published, papers, white papers, essays, HMRC guidance, Bank of England study, FCA. So there's a lot of things which is not probably available or known to people, public, but the authorities are trying to understand what is this, and I think they're placing value on the digital ledger technology. Right? They're not at that stage so much worried about the individual currency. They want to understand how this whole ledger distributed can work. And I think most of the financial institutions are interested to build their own blockchains.
Yes. Bear in mind that Philip didn't know any of these notions a month ago. Now he sounds like an expert.
Yeah, I read forums, white papers, and they're quite useful. The first thing is to understand what's the technology behind the idea, are they aggressive, their community, are they corporation, corporate governance. So I've been looking more from the financial and regulatory. when I see that the company has some features, as they call them, which are smart contracts, or they could be other, it gives me more confidence that the whole concept is viable and it can be built upon.
And yes, Philip have all these links for HMRC. HMRC basically says you have to pay tax.
Yeah, corporate gain tax.
FCA says what? FCA we don't know, we have no
It's
statement.
neutral.
Exactly. They're neutral, right? So Philip will continue to do it throughout the year, constantly monitoring the legislation for all our customers.
Yeah.
And
I think now we have these futures in the US, probably put more focus in the UK, what they're going to do. Currently, the Asian markets, China and the US are most active trading, mining, digging, everything is in this market. UK is a bit behind. We in UK are more conservative and not everyone has in his garden 10 computers to play.
But we're hoping to change that and hopefully make it more mainstream somehow and attract serious investors. How are we going to attract customers? We're going to write weekly and monthly reports. So we have divided 3 levels of subscription. Absolute beginners, £5 a month, like you're buying a magazine, and you learn everything. You can find all this on internet, of course, but it's much nice when it's all structured into one place, Wikipedia style or whatever. Plus, it will be our own experience, so it's really tested. I was really worried where my money are going when I was trading, which I'm going to show now if you're interested. And I'm probably, I don't know, anybody on the line, have you done any trading in Bitcoin or other currencies? No. Okay, so I'm going to show this briefly as well. So one of the, how are we going to help our customers? So we have 3 levels of subscription, £5 per month after the beginners, £25 trading ideas, and £50 for corporate clients. Which Philip, you're going to talk to them. I don't know what to tell. You should find something to tell them. Okay. Yeah. And after the beginners is how to, and then what's new and what hardware is coming or what's happening. People say, how do you mine? I had a very interesting meeting just an hour ago with a Chinese guy who produces a lot of ASIC chips for car manufacturers. So he's very interested as well. He says, why don't we build a mining rig? And I say, I have no idea how to do that, but we can look into that. So the interest is here. And I would like everyone to participate and help. And yeah. So, Rob, do you want to share how did you buy your Bitcoin? So shall I start with no? So Rob,
the classical way back then was Bitalicious, I think. I don't know if that website even exists anymore.
Yeah, it does.
It still exists.
We used it with Philip. Yeah.
It's quite small,
but it's a peer-to-peer exchange, really.
Yeah.
And the worry with it is that you kind of have to trust people, and you're making a payment from your classical bank account to a guy that you've just met. Oh, there it is.
That's the Bitalicious. Yeah. Let me try to share the screen for everyone. Go on, Rob.
And so the issue with it is you've got to be trusting, I guess, right? Because you've got to, once you make your bank transfer out of your current account into this stranger's bank account, there's no recourse. If you make a SWIFT payment out of a UK bank account, it's gone, and that's the end of it. So you're kind of trusting that the other guy delivers the coins.
Actually, we're going to demonstrate it now in exactly the same way, like Philip did it. Go on.
And so that's kind of okay, and that's nice. And then a bit later on, Coinbase came on the scene a couple of years later. And so I opened a Coinbase account and used that. And that's a bit nicer because it's a centralized function. You don't have to trust people as much. You're trusting the exchange rather than individuals, which is as well. And then since that, I guess there's like Bitstamp and the True exchanges. I don't know if you've traded on those at all.
Nope. I only done Bittrex, Poloniex, and Kraken.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Kraken, GDAX, big exchange.
Yeah.
But with all of these things, right, once you've got cash outside a regulated entity, You're not protected by the FCA. You're not protected by the regulators. If these things go bust, you lose all your cash. So in a strange way, you're actually better off to leave your money in Bitcoin than you are actually cash at these exchanges, right? Because, but the other issue is if you do that, unless it's a cold wallet, like a hardware wallet, you've got the risk that someone hacks in and steals all your coins as well. So we hear all the time about people stealing coins. The reality is the blockchain's super safe, the crypto is super safe, it's never been hacked. One day it will be, but the actual exchange software is where the weak link is.
Passwords.
Usually, usually the problem is the human link. People have no password or weak passwords or say something to someone. I never heard. There was an exploit on Ethereum, but that's a different story. Because Ethereum, we're going to explain this probably another time on a technical level, but it's software on top of it, right? So they're adding functionality on top of the Bitcoin core, right? So obviously this functionality is sometimes buggy. They had a division something or minors, and somebody found out purely in JavaScript, very easy to put whatever you like to inject your own code. And he was adding a lot of stuff to himself, like to his account somehow. I don't know exactly how, but he managed to steal millions. Yeah. Anyway, they fixed it, like every other software. Now tell me Windows doesn't have bugs, right? Or Apple or whoever. So this happened, but the truth is, as Rob said, Bitcoin never been hacked so far. The actual core, the actual code. And why is not hacked? Because you know how it works, technically. Yeah. It's all based on certificates. Exactly the same certificates that you use for HTTPS, and they could be SHA-256 or any other algorithm can be plugged. I don't know what they're using at the moment. I think they use the SHA-256, so HTTPS never been hacked, right? There was one leak on HTTPS on the OpenSSL. Yeah. Do you remember this? The blade or the bleeding heart. Yeah, the hard bleed. So when this happened, there was a big wow. But again, there always might be little bugs, but Bitcoin is one of the top, I would say, software on the planet at the moment.
But your only risk, I think, with Bitcoin is further down the line with.
Yeah.
That's the risk.
That's true.
Prime numbers.
However, I believe in the.
But you know what? The Visa network off. HTTPS is off.
Yeah.
The Visa network is off.
Yeah.
Everything's off.
So they're going to kill everyone anyway, right? So it doesn't matter. Also, I believe in the good power of people. So in the same fashion, Bitcoin cannot be hacked because of the number of nodes that are running. So the more and more nodes which are valid are running, the less chance for the hackers to take it, right? The same thing will happen when everybody, if one person has the quantum, yes, and he's called Hitler, yes, he can do whatever he likes, right? But if many people has it, they will invent new algorithms or new encryption mechanism, whatever, right? So we were also planning for next year to do one more function. We'd like to set up an index, and we call it Big 16. And what is Big 16? We're going to touch briefly on that. But basically, it's 16 currencies based in 4 sectors. And Philip is doing a great deal of research there. I have given my picks purely of what I traded. So it doesn't mean they're the right things now, but they will be over the next few months. So we have coins, or Bitcoin, obviously. Then we have cash, like Dash, Bitcoin Cash, Ripple, and something else.
The most commercial.
Yes.
Technology.
And then we have technology, which I call the little guys, like BitBay, BlockNet. Hello. We have more visitors. Please join us. If you come here, because that's the camera. We have few people online as well. Thank you for coming. So we have technology, it's the small guys, BlockNet, BitBay, Zcash, which some of the small guys told me, oh, that's scary. Yeah, but we'll explain why. And what was the fourth one?
Emerging.
Emerging.
Emerging
The fourth
technology
category is
price.
emerging, yes. So emerging category was... Never mind. We'll put details on the website. Yeah. Once we have it, we'll launch it together.
So for this 16, we're following for the last year all the prices, the volume of trading,
yes,
the market cap. So
it's very good that you're mentioning that, because how is currently Bitcoin valued? Based on the number of coins times the market price. Is this the real market cap? Some people say yes, other people say no. But what we're going to record and expose and track is the actual volume, the daily volume that's being traded, plus buy and sell differences, which we believe will be a better indication of what's the interest actually in Bitcoin, even though there are a lot of bots at the moment, a lot of ping pong bots, buying and selling, creating the flow, right? The flow.
Maybe you could mention that we have another guy trading.
Yes, we have a few more partners here. One of them just joined. Kapil? Yeah. So because this is purely UK oriented, we're going to demonstrate how to buy a Bitcoin. And most people know here, but few don't. So let's show it very quickly. So we use Bitilicious. As Rob said, it's very risky because you're paying to a person that you don't know. And the first time I created that, it was for £10. It doesn't matter. But when you put £2,000, you're like, where are my money going? I'm paying to Kapil, and I don't know him, right? For example. But anyway, so far I've transacted about 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 pounds, and always been successful. So I never have lost or anything. So I'm happy to recommend them. They act as a broker, so they don't hold your pounds, right? You pay directly to a person in UK with a sort code and bank account. The person needs to be on the fast payment network, so anything, not to HSBC. But some building societies are not working because they're not connected. So Bitilicious have a list of them, and they will tell you we don't trade it. You can't do it through these banks. And then all you need to do, of course, is an account. And once you log in, you say a new trade. And you need to give them an address. Because we were talking exchanges, there are currently 665 exchanges. Okay? So CoinMarketCap, again, all the names will be shared on our site, and this is recorded, so don't worry. You can keep note, but don't try to remember. There will be a lot of names. CoinMarketCap also has a rating for the exchanges, and it shows you the volumes. And I looked at them last week, and there are 165 here. Okay? So which one you trade with, obviously, I would recommend those which I used. And the same like Rob, he would say what he used. Bitfinex I never used. Apparently it's the biggest one, with a turnover of $4 billion in the last 24 hours. I don't know what it means. So the first one is Bitcoin dollar, 1 billion. The second one is Bitcoin Cash dollar. The third one is Ripple dollar, Ethereum dollar, Bitcoin Cash Bitcoin, IOTA USD, for whatever reason, Litecoin dollar, Ethereum Bitcoin, Ripple Bitcoin, and EOS dollar. EOS is an interesting name as well. Right, so on Bittrex, in order to create an account, they do KYC, and Bitilicious as well. So they say, make a picture with your driving license. So I was doing this at 2 a.m. I was in a funny picture, but they approved it. So a few hours later, they send you an email and say you approved. They want your card as well, I think. On the bill, last bill, the usual UK standard.
Utility bill.
Yeah, utility bill. Once you've done that, you can have an account. You log in and you say new trade. And now they allow me maximum of 1 Bitcoin. They put a limit, so you can't if you have 1 million, you can't use Bitilicious, right? There are other ways which we can explain in another time, but for 1 million, you would need to do it in phases, and it should be bank transfer. It's better because Bitilicious has a high commission. Most of the exchanges where you pay with a card or a bank transfer, not bank transfer, but let's say not bank transfer to the exchange, the commissions is anything between 3% and 10%. You know. Right, so it's all based on the current price. So if there is less interest, if Bitcoin is falling, you'll get a better rate here, a lower percent. Usually I pay between 4 and 6%, but sometimes I get 2% because Bitcoin is falling. Right? How do I check? I need to log into Bittrex to get my wallet account. I'm going to buy Bitcoins. The initial step, right? You have some pounds that you want to lose, and you give it to Bitlicious, and then they come to my pocket secretly. No, they're not. They're not. So as you can see, it's very secure. Every time, even though it knows me, it says traffic lights. So the capture. And now it will say new IP address because I'm using the hotel Wi-Fi. And also I need to answer my 6-digit authentication, which is changing every minute from Google. Right? And finally it will tell me, oh, new IP, dude. You have to approve it. Which is a good thing. Generally, tough security is better. Right, new IP. So I need to go to my email, approve it. Slow now. Usually comes immediately. This inbox is probably old. Yes. So there it is. You go there, you approve it. But once you go to your wallet, you go to Bitcoin and you say plus, i.e. give money there. Once I do that, I get my address or bank account. So I'm just going to say Bitlicious, I want the money here on this address. Okay? And Bitlicious will say fine. Obviously the exchange rate may have changed now. Let's buy something little. 0.01 Bitcoins, 120 pounds. I don't think I have that much in my account, but let's see. Right, and currently, quite lower price, 12,000 pounds. I was seeing 14,000 as well. Okay, let's buy a little bit less even. Sorry. Okay. I can't. The minimum is 0.1. Okay, 0.01. What about 0.05? Yes, I can do that. Okay. Right, so let's say I like the exchange rate. Obviously, I'm checking on my phone all the time. So currently, Bitcoin is $15,500, and the pound is what's the pound ratio? 1.33. So 1.338. Okay. So they're offering, let's say, 12,000 pounds times 1.338. So they're offering for $16,000. The actual price is 15.5. So they're charging us 3.5% at the moment, right? Because I'm buying cash. So you just say get some coin, and the price has changed. Okay, refresh. It happens. So what do? You please check again. That's refresh a lot. It's gone to 16,000. So be careful. Read the price when you see this message. All of a sudden it shows 16,000 now, right? Which obviously we're not going to buy. But why did it change? Let's start again. New trade. 12,000. Maybe because it was too long. Who knows? Maybe it's just a defense mechanism.
So who is setting the price? Bitlicious or the seller who is selling?
No, Bitlicious. Minimum. If you you get the best price. So that's why it gives me such a bad price. So they're very fair. They explain. Please go to minimum 0.01 and you'll get a better price. That's what they're saying, right? Now it says, yeah, £12,000. Let's put the right amount. Okay.
How could be such a differential between small quantities in the
Not buying Bitcoin's address. Sorry. Okay, get some coins. Once the system is happy, not happy still. Okay, minimum 0.09. So they say buy more. Interesting. Yeah, but I can't transfer that much money. I can't demonstrate it, I guess, at the moment. That's the price. Address. Yes, when the system is ready, you'll see this message. It says, please understand that this is a real trade. If you want to cancel, you need to have a valid reason. Da, 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 da. And then it gives you, I'm not going to click I understand now because I'm not going to trade it. They want £1,000, which I don't have. So they give you a contract. I keep all my contracts here in Word. Where else? And then the contract says, so this is an example of contract. You have a trading reference. Sorry, let's start from the beginning. Ethereum, but let's show Bitcoin. Yeah, there you go. So you have amount, how much to transfer, and then you see how much is this in Bitcoins. What will be the address they will go to? The next one. The payment should be made by me. I've got a trading reference. Hello? Okay. And then you have sort code, account number, and the guy I'm paying to is Mr. D. Morel. Right? Once I do, what do I do next? I go to my bank account, make a new payment, and once I'm finished, I go back to the Bitilicious. This screen is completely different. Apparently they're waiting for that. But here you click a separate button where you say payment is done after it's done. Usually it takes 1-2 minutes, and the page auto refreshes, and it shows you we see the money. Now the bitcoins are transferred to your address, which may take anything between 5 minutes and 6 minutes. How busy the network is. Yeah. Sometimes it could be even 2 hours. So they send it to Bittrex because I copied this account. So I hope they're not expecting me. So now they say this. Okay, so what happens? Let's say I've done an error. I'm going to accept this, and they have a 24-hour support. So just basically, if you don't complete your trades, they have the right to not trade with you anymore, which they have in their terms and conditions. So let's be honest with them. They have a very nice support, which is on the page, and you just say, hi guys. I wanted to buy just £400. But made this trading error. Would it be possible to cancel it? Right, and then I click support, and hopefully they'll reply in a moment. I'm just going to call George to mute him. And so let's see when they reply. Usually they're very quick. So when they reply, this will update, and in the same fashion, when you paid, you click the button and say I paid, then the screen refreshes, and then after a while, where the money goes? Somebody asked. Yeah. So the money will end up in your Bittrex wallet. You can send them directly to Bittrex if you want to trade, or you can send them directly to your wallet if it's on your machine.
And if it's on Ledger Nano?
Yes, you need to send it to your computer.
And then copy?
Yes.
But do they send over email? Or?
Oh, can you do it directly on the Nano address? So as long as it's connected, they will end up there. Yes. So if you have one of those, Nano S, have a look. There's, I think they're about £75 now on Amazon. So if you have one of these Ledger, then you can have it connected to your laptop, and then you give the address from the Nano, and then the money will end up there eventually.
I want to download everything. You could keep this.
But you pay a transaction. Every time you transfer from one address to another wallet address, you need to go on the chain. The chain will charge you. At the minute, I think it's quite high. $20.
Safe place.
Yes.
Not relying on.
Yes.
It's exactly, so this is exactly the same thing. So with your computer, right, if somebody's got some software on there and they're monitoring your keystrokes or whatever else, then they can
Flow too.
But they do cryptocurrency wallet, right? This is
No.
It's not a USB.
It's a Linux. It's a Linux on a USB.
Linux.
Embedded Linux. If you want to know exactly what it is. That's what I'm saying. It's the same like a laptop. But it runs from a USB.
Does it mean that it covers only Ethereum and Bitcoin?
No, just about 100%.
Now they have more. Yeah? So why I transfer to Bittrex? Because I usually trade straight away. So I don't want them here. I want them on the exchange so I can have my positions. You can see my positions now. They've fallen quite...
to be clear though, if the exchange gets hacked,
Yeah.
those coins can go.
Yeah.
This will never go.
Yeah.
But this...
But if it's not on the exchange, you can't trade them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Is there software to see them in a
Yes.
sim?
This is all open source.
So you put in a computer, you see your portfolio.
Yes.
It's a Chrome.
Ideally, what Rob is saying is, so instead of me holding the positions here, I need to transfer them all here. But I'm just being lazy.
Well, it's the same as anything, right?
Yeah.
If you've got a wallet, if you've got your life savings in a bank account, you don't carry it around in your wallet. So you have two wallets. You have a usage wallet and you have a save for a wallet.
Yeah?
So if you lose these, it's not the end of the world.
It's like any other risk, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't want to pay 60 quid or whatever it is, you can just do a paper wallet. Just as secure. As long as you've got a safe one.
Yeah.
You print and
You print it, yeah, yes, and you have this. Yeah, so what Rob is saying is, you can have a paper wallet, and this is my Lisk wallet. There you go.
There's no money.
No. And my old Monero wallet, right? So it's just a sequence of 24 words or 12 words. So once these words are given to the given coin blockchain, let's say BlockNet or Monero, that's why I keep which one is it, their algorithm will create your wallet.
So can you trade this stuff? So can I ask you to...
I'll say, if you trust me, I'll say I've got $100 here, and I need to pay you, and I say, yeah, there you go, so $100. But how do you know? You need to recreate. So how does that work?
Yeah.
On your software, you download the Lisk wallet, you enter these words,
And you check that.
it creates my wallet on your computer, and because it's all on the blockchain, the transactions are with you.
This could be a solution for people who are not very IT
Yeah.
savvy and
Yeah.
they want to touch something
Yeah.
or write something.
No. Because if anyone ever gets that, they can steal all your coins.
This is my wallet. Real.
This is
It's empty at the moment. It has zero. So I'm not going to use this
It will
address.
have in a minute if you put it on there. He's already typing it.
But it's empty. So they can recreate it. I don't mind. Please do recreate it. It's fine.
But if it becomes full,
And my Lisk
they
wallet.
will still have this will change. When you put coins in
You can create. Listen. Imagine you have bank account number 1.
Yeah.
And bank account number 1 is created from these 12 words.
Yeah.
Bank account number 2 will be created from a different 12 words.
Okay.
So my bank account number 1 is empty. That's why I'm sharing it to the world.
So when you put coins, it will be accounts 2 with another 12.
So if I'm ever going to buy Lisk again, I'll create another wallet. Or I'll open bank account number 2. And then you open bank account number 3. And you can have infinity accounts or wallet.
Accounts.
Yes.
Because then we can audit them.
No, you can't audit them. Well, you can, but electronically, yeah. You need a blockchain to audit them properly.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it, guys. If you have any other questions about us or about trading Bitcoin, because you can ask. And we're going to put through one of the little guys, I call them, or the little coins.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Who is that? Oh, that's Björk.
Yes.
Oh, great. Great. We can hear you. Fantastic. Fantastic. So let me introduce you. So Björk is also with a great alias of Sir Lose-A-Lot in the BitBay chat. So how do we research alternative coins? Usually every little coin have their own website, of course, and then we have BitBay market, I think.
Yes.
So once you can discover all the little coins from CoinMarketCap, you do your analysis, but hopefully we'll do the analysis for you. You just give us the subscription fee and just follow our trading, and you get rich next year. Once you go to the website, you can read what the coin is about. You can see their roadmap. You can download their wallet. You can see the team, or you can enter their chat. Currently, I don't know where exactly it is, but before it was somewhere at the bottom. Yes, Slack. So you have a Slack. You click, I want to join Slack, and then you can join their Slack. And their Slack looks like this. If you never see Slack, it's just a IRC channel, rooms, Symphony, BlackBerry, whatever, Bloomberg chat, anything. Same thing, right? So they have a lot of channels. You go on channel usually, and you start talking. You can ask whatever you like, really. BitBay are very responsive, and they will answer any question you might have. And Sir Lose-A-Lot is my friend. We're chatting here in direct messaging, and I asked him to share 3 to 5 minutes with us and just introduce what is BitBay and why we should invest in BitBay.
What is the white paper?
The white paper is easy.
It's not on the website.
Oh, okay.
They're still.
Let him talk. Let him talk.
Okay, let's keep it.
Björk, you still there?
Oh, yes, I am.
So we're listening.
Yeah, well, actually, may I steal a few more minutes? It occurred to me these people don't seem to know very much about blockchain at all. So
yes.
It might be a good idea to say a few words about why does it have any value at all.
Yes.
Blockchain, I'm sure you heard it. It's a disruptive technology. Like the Industrial Revolution was disruptive, or the Internet was disruptive. None of us were around for the Industrial Revolution, but we've all been around and seen what the changes to business, society, and so on that have come as a result of the Internet. It's open doors that just weren't there before. And blockchain is the same thing. It's a disruptive technology that will change our society. And there are 2 fundamental things about the blockchain that makes it possible. One, it's decentralized. Blockchain without decentralization would basically be just a database. And we already have that. So the revolutionary part in this is you have a decentralized database. And that opens up for the possibility to use the whole network to secure the database, as opposed to the way we know it, where you have the database at the center and you put your defenses around them. Problem is, when you get through the defenses, the reward is often very big. Like when you hack a bank or a big company and steal all the credit card numbers and so on. Because all the essential information that you as a hacker want is in one place. So it may be a lot of work to get in there, but if you succeed, you are richly rewarded. With a decentralized database, you eliminate that. In other words, you're actually reducing the reward a lot. And also hackers want to be rewarded for the work. So there is not this big honeypot anymore. And then, of course, there's a lot of other functions, but that's one of the very important things. The other one is it's peer-to-peer. So you don't need a middleman. That was the big revolution with Bitcoin. Suddenly you could send money to someone else, anywhere on the planet, without a middleman. That is a revolution. And that is the revolution, now I will finally talk about BitBay. That is the revolution we are building on. What Bitcoin has done for financial services, in other words, eliminating the middleman for sending money, BitBay has done for any kind of deal. Any kind of deal can now eliminate the middleman. Now think about businesses you know. Is there any business you know where there isn't a middleman somewhere that is taking his cut? We can eliminate him. And we do so safely because we use smart contracts for it. And these contracts are built on a mutual destruction principle, meaning there is no way you can win by breaking the contract. You will lose. You only win by staying honest. And I guess I've used my time and a little more, so I'll open up the questions. Could I give you the word back here?
Okay. Yeah, so Philip has a question.
My first question is, when will the white paper be ready? I read that it's being written, but when this will be published?
Oh, actually, the white paper that explains the smart contract is ready and is published. You find it on our site in the About section. The white paper we haven't published yet. The white paper we haven't published yet is the white paper for our dynamic peg. That's a feature that is to come in 2018 that stabilizes the coin, because that's one of the major issues with the cryptocurrencies, because these are small and unregulated markets, and that results in quite a lot of volatility, and you can't really have a currency that is as volatile as cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. You can't have that volatility if you want ordinary people to use it, because they just want the currency to do something for them. They want it to be able. They want it to function as a normal means of payment. They don't want to speculate. They want to be sure they get what they pay for, and that you don't know today, because you can have 10% price swings in a minute. So it's absolutely necessary to stabilize the currency without choking it completely. It needs to be able to move, because hard pegs do have a tradition for being broken. We have seen that a lot in fiat. Oh, you're in England, right? I'm sure you all know George Soros. We certainly do so in Norway. He got us before he got you and broke the peg. So that's what we're going to do next. Is developing a dynamic peg that limits the volatility, not eliminates it. And that white paper is classified for now, because we don't want others to release this technology before we have done so ourselves.
Okay.
Just to ask, the dynamic peg where you will use freezing some currencies, releasing, will this be for all cryptocurrency or just for BitBay to make it less volatile? Only for BitBay, right?
Just for BitBay, but
so what Björk is saying is the idea of the peg is to stop the volatility. But how this is going to work, we're about to see, right?
Yeah. They say they will freeze some emissions. They will regulate the supply of coins somehow.
So basically, the principle they're trying to explain is that if there is when the price is going up, they'll just limit they'll increase more supply. And when it's going down, they'll freeze the supply. And this will be voted by the members of the market. It sounds too good to be true, but it's not impossible.
I think central banks try that. It doesn't really work very well.
Yeah.
Well, central banks have a problem we don't have. Central banks need to use tools that start working after 3 to 24 months. Ours start working immediately. Also, central banks need to take a lot of things into consideration that we don't have to take into consideration. We don't need to think about unemployment rate or taxes up or down and all these things. So we have actually a lot easier job with paying than central banks do.
Basically, just taking care of the payment, that's it, rather than the whole economy, what the bank is trying to regulate. Make sense? And what are the main developments for BitBay next year? The main... there is yeah. Sorry.
From a technical point of view, the dynamic peg is a big thing for us. But from a user and maybe also from an investor point of view, I'd say moving our tech to the web platform and also to mobile is maybe just as exciting, because as we move spot contracts onto our web wallet, it is suddenly possible for others to start implementing our technology under the hood. So Craigslist, one of the very, very big sites, they would be able to use BitBay under the hood to make sure the deals on Craigslist are safe. So that's probably a very big thing too.
And who is they? The merchants, you say?
I mentioned Craigslist as an example, but you could do that for anything. I mean, I told you, BitBay is able to eliminate the middleman in any deal.
Yes.
So you can have a better version of local Bitcoins where you don't have to meet, and still it's very safe. You can use it for binary option. You can build financial instruments on top of this. So there's actually really no limit to it.
Yeah, any technology has no limit as long as it's implemented and based on its users, of course. And that's my next question. How do you think, actually, let's say BitBay will kill eBay. How exactly is this going to happen?
What's my case?
You know what I mean? Like, the technology is great, right? It's secure, it's distributed. The principle is great. So everybody, the way BitBay works is like, if I'm selling a phone to Rob and I don't know Rob, and I'm going to eBay, right? And I'm putting the phone there, and I've got 1 million customers bidding for it, right? And let's say on BitBay you can do the similar thing, and then Rob wins it for £50, my old Samsung, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know Rob, and he doesn't know me, and we don't trust each other, which is normal. And then the way BitBay works is both of us have to put 100% deposit on the price.
Smart contract.
Yes. So
Yes,
I'm putting 50 pounds. Yeah. Let me finish the example. So I'm putting 50 pounds, and Rob is buying for 50, but he's going to put 100. Okay. We're putting it on the market. We can't touch this until the contract is completed, and we negotiate the terms of the contract. Let's say 48 hours for delivery. So our money are locked in the network. 100 from your side, 50 from my side. I get it, Royal Mail, I sign, yeah, I got it, thanks Rob. So then once we say done, the network releases the money. So I'll get my 100, you get your 50 deposit back. Then on the second transaction, let's say we know each other, we can say, let's lower the deposit, can't be bothered, let's do it without deposit even, right? So the idea is to connect people from anywhere in the world, to sell to each other, whatever, exactly like eBay, but you don't have an eBay in the middle. Right? It's just the blockchain that regulates all the money supply. Sorry, you were saying something.
Yes, yes, that is the basic, the double deposit, but the deposit can vary a lot. It has a lot to do with the order and things in which things happen. The land day where I bought 5 acres of land in California.
Yes, that was the first case. This is the first time when BitBay actually jumped was after that case. So somebody actually sold their land on BitBay.
Yeah. And there was a land deal for 300,000 bay. The seller only put up a deposit for 50,000 bay.
Okay. One sixth.
Yes, that was enough to that he has in the game. He doesn't do this for fun, but it wasn't needed with any more because I needed these before I paid.
Yes.
So it wasn't necessary to have the full value of the deal as a deposit.
What was the dollar value of this land?
And me, on the other hand, I had to put up more than the deal was worth to make sure that I would lose in case I didn't send the money. So I had a deposit of 350,000, and that ensured that if I didn't keep my end of the deal, if I didn't send him the money, I would actually have paid 50,000 more for the land than if I had been honest. So this is also about the order of things.
Okay, what was the dollar value of the money?
$6,000 at the time, I believe.
Okay, so a small piece of land, like an acre.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, fair enough. Great. Any other question?
I ask about the idea of removing the middleman? Are you going to target a certain industry which is full of middlemen, let's say insurance or banking? And what are you exactly, how would you achieve this? I mean, they may be rejecting this and they may not willing to part with this.
Yes, well, obviously, the fact that we can remove almost any middleman means we can target all the possible markets that opens up. So our main focus would be to develop the technology so others can start using it.
Okay.
We will make our money if others start using it, because that means a lot of more pay will be circulating and being used all the time, and even more important, locked up in deposits, and thus creating more demand for pay. So that will be our main focus, to make it possible for others to start using Bay to eliminate the middleman. But we do want to target a few markets. We are discussing it, but we haven't quite decided yet what markets to target as soon as we have the done, so so it's possible to use this on mobile and web. And it's quite important to be able to use mobile because a lot of one thing that a lot of people don't think about at all is there is a huge amount of people, a big part of the Earth's population that is not able to go to eBay or anywhere else and participate in the markets for the simple reason that they don't have identification papers, meaning they can't get a bank account, they can't get PayPal, and then they can't participate in the economy as we know it. There's a whole lot of people in underdeveloped countries that will be able to participate in the economy when you remove the middleman.
Yes. That's why I believe the bubble is not so big yet, but let's see. According to the price of Bitcoin today, it's falling, but we're not worried about that at the moment.
Interesting.
Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah. Again, Björk, I would say it's impossible to remove the middleman. We need to integrate somehow with the government. How it is going to happen? Do you have any idea?
What do you mean integrate with the government?
Pay taxes and let's say pay taxes, because effectively, if I sell my land on BitBay, I don't owe any tax anyone, right?
Well, yes and no. You do owe taxes.
By law. By law.
By law, yes. Okay. Well, of course, regulations will have to follow. I mean, this is a very new industry, and no one really knows how to deal with it. And it's not just even about you telling the government not about this land you sold and finding the right amount of money to pay for taxes. I mean, this opens a lot of new questions too. Gambling sites, for instance, they are almost everywhere very regulated, but that's based on the fact that the gambling site is also taking the customer's money and holding them. Now you can suddenly make gambling sites that don't do that. You may pay a little fee to use that site, but all the gambling goes directly between the participants. You don't have a middleman anymore. And how is that regulated? In a lot of places in the world where you can't put up a gambling site today, you can suddenly do it because of this. Of course, they will change the rules in some places and others not. But you see these regulation issues coming everywhere because you change the way things are done.
Yes, I agree on that. Exactly. So nobody knows how this is going to happen, but in order to be successful, it has to be regulated and it has to integrate.
There's more money going into this.
I have a question.
Yeah, go on. Kapil is asking how the blockchain, because blockchain is notoriously slow, Bitcoin payment takes anything between 10 minutes and 3 hours. How are they going to manage with 100,000 payments a second?
Oh, there are ways to do that. I mean, we are already on, well, what are we?
What's the speed in BitBay?
Well, we are about 20 times as fast as Bitcoin, and there's no problem in increasing that a little bit more. Lightning networks are already employed in other coins, and just a week's work, and we would have it too. So that's not really a problem at all. What is more interesting, and that's actually something investors should be worried about a lot, is when do the measures people take to increase the capacity in the network result in centralization? Because it's not a problem to increase the capacity a lot. You can increase the block size in your network work a lot. You can increase or decrease the time between each block quite a bit without getting any problems. What you do get then is a big amount of data. And this data needs to be stored somewhere. So and that's the real problem in a lot of projects that you see today. They store more information on the blockchain than you can if you want to keep it decentralized. And as I said in the beginning, if it isn't decentralized, it's just a database. And we have other solutions for centralized database.
Yes.
So keeping bloat out of it is one of the very important things. And that's where a lot of projects will fail. They will end up centralized because they haven't thought that through.
That's the point.
That's not easy.
Yeah, and just to add to this answer, I mean, BitBay is not going to be the only player, right? So Ripple, for example, is already solving this. What Monty is saying from BitBay is that Ripple is solving this problem through a centralized server. And that's the problem, they believe. Who's going to solve the problem first? It's a different story. Who's going to integrate first with Visa? It's a completely different story. There's one little coin that's already working with Visa in Asia. It's called Monaco. And they're promising very high speeds of transaction. By the way, Ripple transactions are about 4 seconds, any point in the world. So it's pretty good. And they guarantee that through scalability, microservices, horizontal, unlimited, right? Based on your data center. I've recently have done Swift payment to India, 48 hours, 25 pounds, right? So Ripple 4 seconds, and that's why they grew so much this year. 4 seconds and very low fee. They can effectively push the fee as low as they can. Obviously, they don't want that. They want to integrate with Visa or whatever, right? They don't want to lose the business of everyone. Well, thank you very much, Monty. And we will continue. Hopefully, we'll plug you in again in 3 months and see how we go. I personally truly believe in BitBay. I have an investment in BitBay, which already doubled. So I'm going to hold them to the end of January. Let's see how you perform. Last question. I saw Christmas surprise on the roadmap. What is that?
Yeah. A surprise.
Okay, let's leave it here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. So we also have another coin that we would like to present today, and this is called BlockNet. And from BlockNet, I've got Pinekist, as he calls himself on the chat, but the real name, I think it's Arlen. And Arlen, can you hear us? No? Let me check.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Hey! Right.
Aha, good to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Well, thanks for joining, man, because I don't hold many small coins, but BlockNet is one of them, and I was very disappointed when in the last 3 months it was constantly between $20 and $24, right? 20, 24, 20, 24. You're going to explain why I like it so much from a technical and economical perspective, but recently it's gone up to $39, so I'm really happy in the last few days.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah, tell us briefly what the project is about and why it will have impact on the economy or the people or whatever. Yeah. And I'm gonna call your website. Yeah.
Pulling it up. So the BlockNet is inter-blockchain infrastructure. It enables generic inter-blockchain services So I think the best analogy that I have at the moment to explain what it's for is the API ecosystem today. So nowadays, especially if you're doing mobile apps or say enterprise software, you're going to be avoiding plugging in or avoiding writing your own code if you can. So if there's a free or perhaps just a good paid for data source, the chances are someone's written an API for that, and you can invoke that API and pull that data and create a whole bunch of really useful services out of that. And it means that you don't need to do as much coding. A lot of your app turns into basically an orchestration job, where you're orchestrating different data from different APIs and just building a bit of logic to process that stuff. Now, that's known as the API ecosystem. It's really powerful. There is nothing like it in the blockchain space except for the BlockNet. What we enable is for you to essentially make whatever technology you've developed on one or another blockchain network available to consumers of that technology as a service on any other blockchain. Right? It's made available through APIs, but not in the strictly traditional sense, because in this case, the APIs run on the same local machine that you're going to be running whatever else on. The point of what we're doing is about preserving the security properties of blockchains. And so we would be losing all of those advantages if we were to persuade you to invoke APIs over the regular internet like anything else. So our approach is to create decentralized applications that are able to talk to things on different blockchains through APIs that make development a whole lot faster, that enable developers to build really powerful things without having to do some serious low-level crypto coding, and essentially to create what we're calling the token ecosystem. The token ecosystem is like the API ecosystem, but decentralized.
And now in human terms, this was in developer terms. I'm a developer, so I'm okay with that. But is it clear for everybody else?
All right. So in human terms,
yes.
Take
I understand.
Take say the 1,000. Like there are a few thousand blockchains out there at the moment.
Yeah.
Most of them are based on Bitcoin. Some of them are based on Ethereum. And there are a couple of other really interesting ones out there too. Now, let's say that there's a really great service on one on one blockchain. So let's say we're talking about BitBay. BitBay's got this really cool market. We want to use that.
Yeah.
But let's say there's another really cool service on some other blockchain. Let's say I want to use Ethereum for all kinds of stuff. It's really tricky as an end user to do that. You need to run some kind of Ethereum software. You need to run BitBay software. You need to run Bitcoin software, perhaps, because maybe that's where your money is. And then if you want to swap one for the other, you've got to probably use some exchange and manually, send your coins there and swap them over and send them all the way back. And that doesn't make sense.
And
who's going to do that?
Wasted journeys and wasted commissions, yeah.
Yeah, and imagine downloading all those blockchains and maintaining them on your PC. It's a lot of effort. I mean, obviously
Yes.
I do it because
Yeah.
I work in the space, but your average user wants to be on their phone, they want to download an app and get pretty much all the stuff just working easily.
Yeah.
You cannot do that without the token ecosystem. It is imperative that we get generic blockchain interoperability, and without that, it's going to be a hassle.
So is it fair to say that so is it clear first of all what it is? The idea is all the software, all the exchanges of between different blockchains or different coins, right, on your own hardware, either your mobile, your laptop, whatever, right, on your own hardware.
Yeah.
And is this the only technology among the small coins, right? The small like doing this, because there are other.
I think it's.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the only technology, full stop. I'm not aware of anything that actually exists currently apart from us that does that. That's not to say there aren't interesting ideas out there in the blockchain space. And I can think of two, for example, I think Cosmos and Arc, are doing things that are along similar lines.
Yeah,
I think
maybe
that
Waves.
Polkadot could become really great, but I don't think they've done anything yet. And then there's us.
Yeah.
And we're actually doing this stuff.
Yeah. Let me check your price. It's still $32. I'm surprised. 33. Yeah. And
All right, well,
and
I tell you what,
and
like it's not as important to do it first, right? It's important to do it
yes,
well and to do
I
it in
know.
a way that in our case makes a lot of sense for developers, and in the case of our decentralized exchange, which is the first user or customer focused application of our technology, it's important that it's great to use. So I think, we're not a project that enjoys hyping things that don't exist. We tend to just plug away at the dev and encourage people to just look at what's actually happening. And I am anticipating that early next year, when the user-friendly version of our decentralized exchange becomes available to use, then we're going to get a lot of interest. And we'll see what happens.
Yes, and this is planned roughly for Q1 or Q2 next year? Quarter one, the first quarter or the second quarter?
I'm going to very tentatively say Q1. It's not something that we are committing to date-wise.
Of course.
But that said, the front end stuff is effectively done. We've done a whole bunch of work over the last, say, month and a half, 2 months on the APIs, and basically the stuff that's left is integrating them and the usual amount of fixing of bugs and whatnot. So I don't anticipate it will take too long, but it's very new tech. Who knows? We might just end up discovering something we want to spend a month on because it's worthwhile, and then we will.
Yes, and I just want to mention one more thing that you're running. So BlockNet, when you buy blocks, they're called blocks, yeah? So when you buy blocks, you put them in your wallet, and you get staking rewards. So I don't want to show my wallet here because Rob stared me here. Rob said they will see your wallet. I doubt anybody will steal anything, but anyway. So in my wallet, I kept 160 blocks, which I bought them quite early. So I bought them at $12, right? And I still keep them, which I'm very proud of. So please keep the price up. I don't know how you do that, but please keep it up. So in my wallet, I have a ledger, and I received so far from September, 3 months.
Interest.
Yes.
Oh, you show me this.
So I bought 160, and now I have 166.
That's excellent.
Without mining, the difference between proof of work, it works on proof of stake. So all I do is just I leave my computer always on. I participate in the exchange, so for the whole blockchain, right? And then they reward you for that. And what BlockNet also has is this node notion. So if you have 5,000 blocks, you get rewarded a little bit more, actually, based on the load of the network, right? Or how
that's correct.
Yeah, how does this algorithm works? Because I've seen this Excel spreadsheet from Storming, and it's very big. Yeah, Stormy J. And sometimes the ratio is 1. So if my 160 blocks, you get exactly the same reward as a 5,000 block node, because the node is doing much more work as far as I know, but you correct me please and explain, because even I don't know how it works. Actually creates this ratio. Yeah. What moves this ratio?
All right. So there is one new block of transactions on the BlockNet blockchain every minute on average.
Yeah.
And with every new block, the block reward is 1 BlockNet token. Now, 30% of that BlockNet token goes to the staker who processed that block of transactions. The remaining 70% is awarded deterministically to one or another service node. Now, basically, if there are very many service nodes online at the time, then you running a service node will need to just wait a little bit longer until you get your next reward. And of course, if there are fewer stakers on the network, then you'll get more rewards because you have a proportionally greater amount of coins on the network. That's why the staking rewards and the service node rewards go up and down periodically. Every now and then, you do make a little bit more money staking than running a service node. But in my experience, under some sort of normal circumstances, you can make 1.5 to over 2 times more running a service node.
Can I ask a few questions, very practical?
Mm-hmm.
So I understand you are building an internet of blockchains. So what is the capacity of blockchains that you could add to this interoperability? Is there a limitation? And second, do you need consent from these blockchains to be added or not? And finally, how will you make your money? Will the blockchains pay some subscription, or the end users will pay for this internet operability to have everything nicely, all the blockchains available?
Thank you. Very good questions. All right. First off, there are no permissions of any kind associated with using the BlockNet. What we're building is infrastructure. We think about it like a road. You shouldn't pay to drive on a road. You just drive on it. And if it's a good road and if it takes you where you want to go, then you'll drive on it all the time. The way in which different blockchains can use the BlockNet is basically a matter of what APIs we're able to talk to. So currently we talk to pretty much every single blockchain that's based on Bitcoin. The reason for that is...
Just to clarify API,
yeah.
It's just a protocol.
Protocol.
So like a language. If I want to speak to a Chinese guy, I need to speak Chinese. If I want to speak to English,
so that's the technical one.
Between you and me, we speak English or Bulgarian, whatever. But that's the API, right?
So each blockchain has its own API.
Yes. And then different
language.
And allows you to use these different APIs and use something which is called atomic swap. So when you change between 2 coins, it locks them both through the API. Anyway, sorry.
That's right.
Please continue.
My personal summary of an API is, let's say you have a database somewhere, just any kind of data. If you let random people on the internet access your data, they can break that database very easily. Maybe they write crazy stuff to it. Maybe they overwrite data that's useful, etc. So what you do is you put a barrier up, and then you control what data people can access, and you control what data people can change. That interface there is called an API. It stands for Application Programming Interface. It just means that there's a secure and very easy to use way to get to the data. So in the case of blockchains, there is an API on your wallet that runs on your computer or your phone. And if you run a BlockNet application, and any wallet that the BlockNet knows how to connect to the API of, then they connect up and off you go and do whatever you want. So currently, pretty much 99% of all blockchains are based on Bitcoin, and they all have the same API. It's kind of amazing. So we can get massive interoperability just by connecting to that API. Obviously, in our testing, we've become aware of all sorts of little details that we've built out slowly, so that any of the little changes to the API are still supported on every coin we come across. We are currently 50-60% of the way through to an Ethereum integration, and that'll give us Ethereum and presumably pretty much every single other blockchain that's based on Ethereum. We'll have to check, because obviously you have to test everything, but it should work pretty well. So anyway, that's the first question you answered. The answer is that You can use the BlockNet if we can talk to your API. You don't need any permission. You just use it. The third question was about how the BlockNet makes money, what the revenue model is. Now, we have 3 core services, and with those 3 services, we are going to power generic inter-blockchain services. Now, one of those services is decentralized exchange. Decentralized exchange allows you to swap, say, one cryptocurrency for any other cryptocurrency with no possibility of you losing your coins. It's what's called an atomic protocol. Therefore, either you get whatever you wanted to buy and you give whatever coins you had to sell, or nothing happens at all and no one loses any money. Now, our revenue model comes from the fact that if you're using the exchange protocol, there are trade fees, and trade fees are charged in BlockNet tokens. So if you're using the decentralized exchange, your application will buy a very, very small amount of BlockNet tokens, like between 0.05% and 0.2%, depending on if you're adding or taking liquidity. And what that does is that creates continual buy pressure on the price of BlockNet tokens. So if you have, a volume of 1,000 Bitcoins a day or something, then there's going to be, that many little purchases proportionally of BlockNet tokens. So that pretty much means that the value of BlockNet tokens scales with the volume of usage of our decentralized exchange. That's the basics of our business model.
Very complex, very technical.
It is technical.
Sorry if I was too complicated. I should work on quick summaries.
Yeah, you will need at some point economist or somebody or sociologist or someone who can explain it better. Yeah, because I understand everything in developer terms. Whether this will work or not, we're about to see. But you can effectively, instead of using Bitrex, what I just showed. So when I bought a Bitcoin, I put it on Bitrex, right? And then I buy BitBay. I can do the same through the BlockNet exchange, which will run on my computer. So basically how it works is you have to run 3, I asked this on the forums, that's why I know it, but you have to run 3 BlockNet wallets. In one of them, the Bitcoins will arrive. On the other one will be the whatever else. No, sorry, wrong. So I need to run the BitBay wallet, obviously, on my computer, and the Bitcoin wallets as well. And the BlockNet is just the arbiter that will exchange between the 2 wallets by using the 2 blockchains. Does that make sense?
You could exchange currencies through this internet.
Yes, only on your computer, effectively on your local network, right? So what it means is I must
add something there, which is that currently your description is correct, which is that if you're going to use the decentralized exchange, you need a BlockNet wallet, a Bitcoin wallet, and a BitBay wallet. Basically 3 wallets for most coin pairs. That's just an interim solution, because the whole point of what we're doing is to create technology that means that people don't have to run so many wallets on their machine. I mean, you could not do that on your phone, for example. So what's coming down the line is, as soon as we are able to fit it in on our milestones, which means it's basically priority number 2 after getting the front end live and running, we are going to build what's called an SPV multi-wallet. Basically, it means that you can run a whole lot of coins in one application. You don't have to download different wallets. The application just runs as part of the exchange front end, so it's just one app. And the app doesn't need to download the full blockchains of any of these coins. So you get a really light footprint. You can put it on a mobile phone. You can run it very quickly. It basically solves all these problems.
What will be the actual blockchains?
Sorry.
Where will the actual blockchains live if
Oh,
they're
okay.
not on your?
So if you read the Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper for the design of Bitcoin, he includes a thing called an SPV wallet. It stands for Simplified Payment Verification. Basically, what it does is instead of downloading the whole blockchain, it will download only a couple of blocks that are relevant to whatever transaction it's looking for. And to do so, it will ask all its peers for those transactions, and then it'll get it from several parties and make sure that everything is in agreement. Now, in the white paper, Satoshi does a probabilistic calculation of the security of the solution compared to running a full blockchain locally. It's really, really secure. It's not as secure as a full node, but for the types of purposes that we're using it, it's sufficient.
Okay. Yes, we need to read a bit more, Philip, and me.
More white papers.
More white papers, yeah. Any other questions?
Seriously, if you ever want to read something incredible, just go to bitcoin.org/bitcoin.pdf. Take 4 hours to read that paper. It is absolutely brilliant. It's the design of Bitcoin. I mean, it's step one for this entire ecosystem that we're in now. And it's brilliantly written, very clear. It'll take you 4 hours.
Okay, I watched the Netflix documentary, and that's what we're advertising because we're more lamers here, and nothing against the paper.
Yeah, start there.
Yeah, I'm sure the paper is great, but we will be trying to explain to more bigger audiences exactly in simpler terms.
Yes.
Even though it's not always easy, it doesn't mean you can explain.
Yes, absolutely, it's difficult. Yeah. Well, you can explain it like this: if you're running a crypto wallet on your phone, it's very likely that you are trusting some company to tell you the truth about what's going on a blockchain.
Exactly.
That is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Because they could lie, or they could get hacked, they could go insolvent and try to steal your money. All kinds of horrible things could happen. And the entire point of this technology is to bypass these third parties. So it doesn't make sense to use a wallet like that. Now, in contrast to that, if you use an SPV wallet, you are not having to trust any of these intermediaries, but you are having to trust that any random nodes you connect to, maybe you connect to 12 different nodes on a network, and they all tell you the same thing about what the status of the blockchain is. It's possible, say, that someone is controlling all 12 and is telling you a fake story, but it's pretty unlikely, especially over a period of time as you keep running it. So it's not perfect, but it's pretty good, and it's much better than trusting an intermediary who runs some servers somewhere.
Yeah,
that's the picture.
And this is where the notion comes: if you have more and more Bitcoin nodes, the more secure the network is, because more and more people are saying, yes, this transaction is correct, this transaction is true. These are the confirmations, Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
very
I'm not sure
useful.
how
very useful. Believe me, very useful. We will make these meetings monthly or quarterly, and I would love to see you again in a few months. I just don't know how to pronounce. I like your South African accent, and my first contract in London was from a South African guy, and I truly believe a great software is written there.
Fantastic, thank you. You said you didn't know how to pronounce my name.
No, the alias.
My alias, Cynicist.
Cynicus.
Yeah, you can look up the meaning for that if you Google Charles Peirce. There's an American philosopher in the 19th century his name is Charles Peirce. His surname is spelled P-E-I-R-C-E. Look up a dictionary of his terms. He came up with a whole bunch of crazy words. Cynicist is one of them. Well, cynicism is one of them.
Well,
pretty cool.
Pragmatic, I think. Pragmatism, the father of pragmatism, Charles Peirce.
Exactly.
Oh,
yes, he did found it. That is great. I'm really glad you know that.
Tonight I will read.
The thing is, he founded it.
Let me show you Philip. That's Philip.
Hello.
He knows a lot.
Philip, good to meet you.
Yeah, he's Bulgarian, and Bulgarian.
The interesting thing about him though is he invented and he founded pragmatism, but it was only a few years before he renamed his position pragmaticism because he didn't like the other stuff that people were doing under the banner of pragmatism. He's a fascinating thinker. I think him and Aristotle are basically the cleverest people I've ever encountered, and that's really saying something. So
Unbelievable.
anytime you're bored, just go read Charles Peirce. He's amazing.
Now you have Victor here, who is a partly philosopher, but he's also a developer. And
Hi,
he
Victor.
just said, unbelievable, yeah. But
Good knowledge.
yeah. Our next block will be from blockchain to Aristotle, or from Aristotle
Fantastic.
to blockchain. Actually, the other way around. He was first, yeah. Victor, you
That sounds great. Count me in. I'll join that. That sounds like an excellent meeting.
Great. Thank you very much again. We're about to finish now, and keep up the good work, please. Let's get rid of the middleman, and yeah, so then
Yes.
we don't have to kill the messenger. That's it.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Right, so that's it, guys. It's 7:30, and we have some bites and
We are on time.
and prosecco. So it's not a big bunch here, but we can hopefully enjoyed it.
Yeah, very interesting.
Hopefully it was useful, and I promise it will be much more organized next time. Philip actually wanted to kill me. He was like, Alex, we have nothing to present, and I was like, we'll have something to present. Believe me.
Start.
I hope it was a good start, and thank you again for
Yeah,
coming.
these guys were quite.
I hope it's good to have these voices, yeah?
Yeah.
Coming
Do we
in.
record this?
Yes, it's all recorded. The whole
all
session is recorded. And that's Danny. Oh, I didn't present Danny. Hey, Danny, how are you doing?
Hey, Al.
Hey, good to see you. Why
You
are you
too.
here? That was very quick. Why are you here?
Yeah, I was just listening in, just trying to get some education. So that was an interesting hour. So thank you for sending me an invite.
Yeah. So, Danny, can I tell them how I met you?
Yeah.
Okay, so why Danny is here? Oh, go on. Okay. No, he's not my girlfriend, don't worry. So what happened is, the universe, somehow, I had a frozen pipe, right? 2 weeks ago, I had a frozen pipe because of the negative temperatures, right? So it was very annoying from the toilet. So anyway, so I called the insurer, and insurer said, yes, we'll cover everything, we'll send people. So Danny is one of the insurance agency. So Danny came to look at the carpets and walls and whatever the damages are. And then I look at Danny's keys. Show us your key. Show us your key, bunch. Yes. So somehow I saw that, and I see not one, but 2 nanos. So I saw 2 of those, right? And I was like, Danny, do you trade Bitcoin by any chance? And he was like, yes. Alex, how do you know? So this is how it all started. So, Danny, what's your job actually? You're an insurance supplier or?
Building surveyor and loss assessor for insurance.
Loss assessment.
Loss assessor, yeah. So Danny's a loss assessor, but he bought Bitcoins before me.
Wow, clever.
Not before Rob, but before me. Yeah.
Because he's from Scotland.
Yes. So we had a very good chat. I live in the middle of nowhere, and I said, what are the chances an insurance assessor, loss assessor, to come to my house and to actually talk about Bitcoins? And okay, Victor, go on.
Well, it's so hot right now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. So yeah, so we discussed that, and we want to do an ICO with Danny.
Wow. For insurance.
I said it, Danny. Sorry, I said it.
For insurance.
No, for anything. There are multiple ideas floating, right?
Tokens.
One is the insurance. The other one is the regulator will need something.
An account.
The regulator will need the BlockNet of whatever, of tax.
Yeah.
So if anybody's up to it to develop it, we just need a couple of millions investment and it's all done. Isn't it? Yeah. So Danny, thank you for joining. I hope you liked it.
I did. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it, and I hope to speak to you soon.
Yes, speak to you soon. And thanks everyone. We're just going to have a little chat in the separate room. And I promise it will be better next time. Hopefully end of January or mid-February, something like that.
Yeah, we'll
Good
do
stuff.
something like that.
Thanks again. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.